Section 7, factoring special cases. Josh, you asked about the pattern for a binomial squared. Okay? And here I've written up the pattern for a plus b squared and a minus b squared. And I just want to show you this pattern. It's the first one squared, and we'll zoom in here. And it's then the back one squared, and what's the middle? At double the product. A times b, double it. Now why is it double? Because you have AB and AB when you get FOIL. I didn't draw the little FOIL. Down here, we have a squared and b squared, but the middle is what? Negative double the product of a and b. Why is it negative? Because that's a negative there. All right? So, I'm going to go to a separate sheet of paper, and I'm going to look at number 1. And I don't want you to write this down, but we're just going to do number 1 together. X squared minus 8x plus 16. All right? Zoom out. I make my T. First circle, second circle. Multiplies to what?
16.
Adds to? Okay, come on. This is like 4 days old, so we should be right on this. Everybody should be. 1 and 16, obviously, is 17. 2 and 8 is 10. 4 and 4 is 8. That's opposite of what we want. Switch it all to the opposites. Try not to say switch it to the negative. Switch it to the opposite. Does this problem make itself eligible for the shortcut?
Yeah.
Why, Luke?
Because there's no number for x.
There's no number in front of the x. Okay. No, in the x squared, right? Is what you're thinking? So my answer is x minus 4, x minus 4. Now I want you to be elegant when you write your answers tonight. Elegant means you kind of take that extra step and you just make it really classy. When we have something that's times itself, how can I make that a little bit classier to write it? Yeah, x minus 4 squared. So my answer to number 1A is x minus 4 squared. All right? Let's look at 1B. I have x squared plus 12x plus 36. All right, I'm going to cover that up. I make my T. 36 in the first one, 12 in the second one. Can anyone think of two factors that multiply to 36 that add to 12 without making the whole T? Luke?
6.
6 and?
6.
6. Is he right? Okay, so my answer, x plus 6, x plus 6. How do I write it in an elegant manner?
X plus 6 squared.
X plus 6 squared. All right, we come back to our answer key. Any patterns that you see?
Binomial squared.
Okay, what's the title of our section today? Perfect square trinomials.
Oh, I see it.
Now, let's look at some patterns. We just did 2 of them.
You divide the middle number by 2.
We divide the middle number by 2. Let's see if Luke's right. When you divide negative 8 by 2, what do you get? Negative 4. When you divide 12 by 2, you get 6. That's one of the things that has to be true. So we have to be able to divide the middle number, divide the middle term by 2. All right? So that's one of the ideas. Anyone see another idea? What else has to be true? John?
It's the square root of like the last number.
All right, let's think. What's the square root of 16?
2.
4. What's the square root of 36? 6. Now how do we deal with the negative piece?
If there's a negative, if there's a minus in it, then you just put a negative.
So it's the square root, write that out, square root of the last term. All right? And the sign follows what? What does the sign follow?
The parentheses.
The second term or the middle term? All right, so let's take what we just hypothesized and answer 1C. What's the square root of 25? 5. Divide 10 by 2. Negative 5. So what's my answer?
X minus 5 squared.
For this to work, a couple things have to be true. The front number's got to be a perfect square. What's this front number? 1x squared. Is that a perfect square? 1x times 1x. The back number's got to be what? Perfect square. Is that a perfect square? 5 times 5, 25. Everybody, write down what you think the answer is to 1D. If you think you got it, raise your hand. Good. Work with your partner, help you with their stuff. Good. 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 Yes. All right, answer is?
X minus 1.
X minus 1 squared. Nice job. Okay. Problem 2, level 2. What's different? There's a number in front. But look at those numbers. 4, 9, 181. What are they all? They're all perfect squares. On A, B, C, and D, they're all perfect squares. Look at the back numbers. Look at our back numbers. 9, 25, 49, and 1. What are they all? Aren't they all perfect squares as well? So the front numbers are perfect square, and the back numbers are perfect square. Now we're going to use John's idea at the back. He talked about taking the square root. Right? On the first problem, what's the square root of 4?
2.
What's the square root of 9?
3.
What's 2 times 3? Is the middle term 6? What's the middle term?
12. So you
How does 6
multiply
relate
that
to
by
12?
6. It's divided by 2.
Let's look at the next one. What's the square root of 9? What's the square root of 25? What's 3 times 5? Look at the middle term.
Divided by 2. No, that's negative.
Does it check on C? Square root of 100. Square root of 49. What's 10 times 7? How does that relate to the middle? Isn't it all doubled? What's the square root of 25? Square root of 1. 1 times 5? Double it. Because they have to double. So anyone want to guess what this one might be? John? You are so right. 2x plus 3. Let's see if it works. Think FOIL with me, guys. 2x times 3 is 6x, right? Double it and you get what? 12x in the middle. Is 2x times 2x 4x squared? Is 3 times 3 9? Boom. What's the command that we're doing in this section? We are what? The command is? Factoring. We are factoring. But we're doing it fast. Is this easier? Think if I had given this problem to you 2 days ago. 9x squared minus 30x plus 25. Ryan, you would have multiplied 9 times 25 and gotten 225. And then you would have started writing all of the factors of 225. It would have taken you a while. And you finally would have got down to 15 and 15. And then you would have done the grouping method. You know, the MAC method as we call it. But now, you can quickly look at this and say, hey, what's the square root of 9? 3. What's the square root of 5? 5. There's 25. 5. 3 times 5 is 15. Doubled is 30. Drew, give me my answer.
3x plus 5.
Very close. Good. Why is it a minus?
Because the 30 is...
Yeah, it follows the sign of the middle.
What do you get for 3x?
Square root of 9. Where do I get the 5? Square root of 25. Abby, question?
So we can't do this on the we can do it the other way.
Right. This is only for special cases. Only for special. I won't give you these on the quiz. I don't want to confuse you. I will never give you something on a quiz that we just taught you the day before. Now, is it possible you might bump into one of these? They're going to be all jumbled up on the test. How do you recognize these kinds of problems? Look for perfect squares. Is 100 a perfect square? Is 49 a perfect square? What's 10 times 7? Double it. Does it fit? So what is my answer? Write it down, take 10 seconds, and do the problem. What is my answer? 10x plus 7. The quantity squared. Justin, am I going too fast? Are we okay? All right, next one. Somebody, raise your hand if you got it. Give the rest of you a few more seconds. Sydney, go ahead.
9x plus 1 squared.
9x plus 1 squared. We only had one minus in all of those. Are you okay when you have a minus? Okay? All right, flip her over. Yes, sir. The whole point of doubling it is because when you FOIL, the O and the I of FOIL are the same. That's why you double it.
Is the doubling just checking it?
Well, it has to fit the pattern, otherwise it doesn't work that way. So, all right, backside. Problem 3, up one more level in terms of summative challenge. Is 10 a perfect square?
No.
Sad face. Because instantly 10's not a perfect square, so what does that mean?
That we can't use it.
We can't use the shortcut that we just learned on the first page.
We gotta do both on
But, John, do you see it? 3 letters. First one's G, last one's F. G, C, F. Please look, guys. 10, 100, 250. Do you see a GCF?
10.
Yeah. So let's do a little double arrow there. Put a 10. Put a big bracket. 10 times what is 10x squared?
1x.
1x squared. 10 times what is 100x? 10x. Thanks for the delayed x. And 10 times what is 250? 25. Now, ladies and gentlemen, look at your new problem. Look at the inside. Is that a perfect square trinomial?
Yes, sir.
The back one squared, that's 5, right? And what's 5 times 2? Does it match? So, my answer becomes really simple. Do I need that 10?
Yes.
Darn right, can't leave them at the mall. X plus 5, and what do? Squared. So, if you run into one of these problems, Hannah, and it doesn't look like it fits the bill, they're not perfect squares, look for a GCF. Look at the next one. Is the first one a perfect square?
Yes.
Is the back one a perfect square?
Yes.
Ah, but be careful, I'm trying to trick you here. What else do you notice? Sure it does. 2 times 6 is 12. 12 doubled is 24. True?
Negative square.
Yeah, but it'll be negative. But look at 4, 24, and 36, folks. What do they all have in common?
Fours.
A 4. So let's take out the 4. Someone tell me what's left.
It's 4 times x squared.
X squared, good job. Or good, Luke. Minus
6x
6x plus
plus 6.
Like-
Sorry,
plus Jalon? 9, thank you. All right, some lady, give me an answer. Ladies, jump in here. Haley? Katie? Tara? Maybe? What does it start with, at least?
4.
Oh, your voice has gotten much lower, ladies. The 4 comes down, doesn't it? Is 9 a perfect square?
Yes.
3 times 3. What's 3 doubled? 6. So it's x and 3, and it's squared, but I need a sign in the middle. Notice the minus in the middle here? That leads to a minus in the middle there. Okay? All right, look at 3c.
It doesn't go any further.
Is it a perfect square?
Yes. No.
No. Is there a GCF?
Yes.
What is it?
2.
2. 2 times, help me somebody,
4x squared
4x squared
minus
20x plus 25. All right, take a minute, work with your partner, figure out that answer.
square root.
What squared is 4x squared? Okay, what squared is 25? 5, that's 2 times 5. Definitely 94. All right, so my answer, I bring down the 2. If you're not sure how to get this, think what's the square root of 4x squared? 2x. What's the square root of 25? 5. I put a minus in the middle because that's a minus, and I square it. How many got it? Curious. About 2/3 of us, not bad. Questions for those of you who struggled a little bit there? Did anyone just put an x minus 5 by mistake? So be careful. You know why it needs to be a 2x? Because that's a 4. Cover up the 2 and say, what squared is 4? Obviously 2. All right. Luke?
5 doesn't add up to 20 though.
What's 5 times 2? Double it.
Oh.
Because think when you're doing FOIL, the outside and the inside of FOIL cause you to have to double it because they're exactly the same in this case. All right, our last one here. What's my GCF, Tara? 3, 24, and 48. 3. Can you tell me what's left? Good. Good. 8x. And I heard Luke say 16. All right, that 3 comes down. What squared is x squared? 1x. What gets us a minus?
Minus 12 and then
A minus. And what squared is 16?
4.
A 4. So level 1, really straightforward. Level 2, I put some numbers in front. Level 3, you might have a GCF. Pretty straightforward?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I kind of put it into an application here. A square has area 16x squared plus 24x plus 9. What do you know about the area of a square? What's the general formula? To find the area of a square, what do you do? Side. Isn't it side squared? Isn't that the area of a square? Side squared? So, if 16x squared plus 24x plus 9 equals the area, how do I figure out the length of a side? Can I write this long binomial or trinomial as something squared? Does it fit the pattern? Look at the 16. Is that a perfect square? Okay. Look at the 9. Is that a perfect square? All right. What squared is 16? So 4x. What squared is 9? 3. It's a plus in the middle. So is that a different way to write the area formula? So it says find the length of the side. So I guess I need to say the length is how much? Well, this is the formula. That's the same formula. What's my length? 4x plus 3, and I guess we should say units. Since there's no centimeters, inches, or whatever, it's just units. So just a little application about area. No, because it's just length.
Could it be 3x plus 4?
No, because you have to square it to get 16.
How do you know that's the side?
How do you know that's the side? Well, do you agree that this is the formula for the area of a square? So if that matches that, aren't they exactly the same? Therefore, side equals 4x plus 3. Has to be. That's a substitution idea. All right, our square for the day. I like this one. It's pretty straightforward. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4 at the back. 4 plus 4 is 8. Isn't that nice? 484. All right, this is going to apply to some of you. Finish, practice, quiz. Okay? And then this homework. How long do you think this homework's going to take you? Easier? Now, if you get stuck, you can always go back and do the long way. But hopefully you can use some of the shortcuts that we've talked about.